Today we want to talk about intentional living. And hi, I'm Jim.
I'm Rhenda. Still.
We're the Wilsons.
Of course
Home
we are.
hardiness approach.
What do you have on your chin?
I have no idea. What does it look like?
It's gone. Oh, now it's on your lip. I better kiss it off. Okay, it's done.
Dear me.
It's Sunday. This is our sit on the porch day and talk to you.
It's been a busy day so far.
It has been. He's in a leadership position and he's about leadership down today.
It's hot today.
Great job.
Hot today.
It's hot, not as bad as yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday was 102 in Oregon, in the middle of Oregon, not
in Western Oregon, not Eastern Oregon.
Western Oregon. Eastern Oregon's hot, but whew.
Today we want to talk about intentional living, and this is not a term that we invented. It probably has a lot of meanings, but we're going to explain what we mean by intentional living, because it's more and more we're seeing the importance of thinking that way and living that way, so that there's solid purposes to what you're doing, and when you try to see them through, it makes sense.
Well, we've been talking about why are we doing this and how far do we want to go, because we've been talking about cows and pigs, because off-grid and things like that. And actually this week I gave up the dishwasher voluntarily. Our dishwasher's been weird.
Semi-voluntarily.
No, actually, it's weird. It takes like 2 hours to do the dishes, and that's a ridiculous amount of electricity.
We're expecting that our electric bill is going to drop noticeably.
And so I got containers to put knives, forks, and spoons in to make it manageable, a dish pan, all this stuff, and I wash as I go, and I'm like, this morning I was doing it when you weren't here. I was so happy. I thought, this is crazy. I mean, we've definitely lived without a dishwasher. When we were on our homestead in Utah, we did not have a dishwasher at all. But I'm doing it intentionally, and I'm liking it a lot.
It's a choice you made. You know why you made it.
Yeah.
And you feel good about it.
Right. And then yesterday we also bought some posts for you to make me a
Clothesline.
Clothesline, to give them the dryer. I mean, we'll still keep them for white shirts and, permanent press that we have to do. Or when it's raining, because this is Oregon.
How's that going to work?
Well, we'll do it when we need to.
We'll make one of those foldy ones that go inside. We'll buy one.
Anyway, I'm weird. I love hanging clothes. I love seeing them flap on I think there's just this beautiful thing about seeing clothes hanging up.
Well, I love the smell of
Yeah.
clothes when they come from the line.
Yeah.
I mean, that's back in the old days when I grew up. That's
all you
it was.
did. All you did.
I remember when the dryers came out, but they were never as good as what came off the line. I mean, they were stiff off the line.
Well, we
but
have
once
to
you
put the
started wearing
chemicals
them,
in them
they
to make
started
them
softening up. The smell, they were always fresh and crisp.
And like they're starched. So those are two intentional things that we're doing. And so now we're like, should we do pigs? We really want to do pigs.
Well, we definitely like pork. We're also, where we're living here, we have several places that we would like to do, I won't call it gardening, but there are things that we want to raise that could be feed for the animals, or even like grain types of things for us. But crops that take up more space.
Well, and it's just places where there's just noxious weeds growing right now.
Right now, to try to use it would be one heck of a lot of work. So sending the pigs in first and let them tear it down to dirt. Wow, that would be fantastic in some of these locations there, to be able to start that way.
So we live in a modular home. It's very comfortable. And I find myself going, well, let's go off-grid like Fauchomatic or like Doug and Stacy. And I really want to, in a way.
Which way? No, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it.
Well, let me just tell you really quick. When we were in Utah, there was a shack, literally a shack on the property, and we lived in a mobile home,
RV.
an RV. And we fixed the shack up to be the storage room, and then we decided, well, let's fix the shack up to be our house. And he built a gorgeous kitchen, and we turned the bedroom into a walk-in closet
Large
and storage.
walk-in closet.
And the living room we turned into our bedroom. So we had a bedroom, a living room, dining room, and a closet.
It was essentially a moderate, small-sized studio with a large closet.
It was 400 square feet.
Yeah.
And we had to make the shower outside. We did have a bathroom.
We didn't take a lot of showers. A lot of sink
A lot of
baths.
sink baths. But we did that for well over a year.
Yeah.
So it's not like we don't know how to live off grid. But the question is, why?
Well, when you say off-grid, we had electricity, so that's really not off-grid.
No, you're
We
right.
were connected to electricity.
You're right. We just were living very primitive. And we were doing it because it was affordable and because it was ours. Well, it was our son's. His property, but he was letting us use it.
So, but that's the question: how far off-grid?
And do we need to? I mean, we don't even have a fireplace here or a wood stove, and that kills us because we have to use electricity, and we hate electricity. Oh. Anyway, so maybe we'll just build a little barn in the back and go move into it.
Put up a tent if you want to go off-grid. Just live in the backyard.
We are campers.
Just turn off the electricity.
But there's not a reason to give up what we've got. There's just...
the question we have to ask is, what could we do? I mean, if we're not using the dishwasher, that's one thing. Refrigerator, stove is electric. I mean, so much is electric, but nothing stops us from finding substitutes for those things.
Yeah.
And reducing our consumption.
Yeah. So anyway, it's kind of a silly conversation, but it's not. It's been a big, important part of our conversation the last week.
Well, I'm sure everybody who has made the decision to go off-grid or to go a little more homesteading than what they have been doing, it's a discussion because you realize what you have to change. And it becomes an intentional decision. I mean, if it's not, I can see how when it gets tough, when it gets hot, when it gets cold, when it gets wet, when it gets dry, when the conditions are uncomfortable, you're going to say, wow, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? I'm not enjoying this anymore. So you have to intentionally understand what you're choosing.
And there is a question that we have. For those of you who have gardens and animals, so right now we have 32 layers, 7 turkeys, and 34 broilers.
And a garden.
How do you leave the property? Like, we would really like to go see our kids in Colorado, but there's no way until the turkeys and the
well, in fact,
broilers
we
are
do
done.
have a multi-day trip planned in October because our son's getting married, so we definitely need to be there for that.
And we had someone come out
You
to
know,
the property, but it didn't.
A day here and a day there, we can work that out. A couple of days, which we've done, and we've had somebody come, and there were some, things didn't go as smooth for them, and there's just more issues with
Yeah,
the
because
animals.
we know our property. It's no big deal to push the turkey house or to push the chicken house, but to ask somebody else to do it. So I really want to find someone that we can just super trust and that likes it as much as we do. I'd love to just be able to have somebody, move your mobile home, your
But our
RV.
question to our friends around YouTube land is, we know a lot of you are gone for multiple days. You have animals. What do? You hiring people? Do you have a very knowledgeable neighbor? What are you finding? What's the range of things that are possible? What are you finding works the best for you? We need to explore it, but so far we haven't made the local connection that we're comfortable doing for more than a day or so.
Yeah,
it's a
that's
challenge.
true.
It's a big deal.
It's true. On a side note, below our feet is about 40 garlic. And we had some really good friends who said, we have garlic on our property. Anybody want to come and get it? So we did, and
I think it got away from them. I mean, they've only been there not quite a
no,
year.
they rented it, and I mean they were renting, and the people before them did
Yeah,
it.
so they had a lot.
Anyway, so now we've got to dry it and get it ready so that next year, not only can we use it, because we use it with the animals and their water and stuff, and especially in our food, but that way we'll have some for planting next year too. So it's very nice.
We're gonna have a lot of garlic. That's good.
Well, if you have thoughts about your intentional living, about why you chose to do it and how far you plan to go,
How far you have gone.
and share with us. And thank you so much, subscribers. We're creeping up there in subscribers. I think we have 62 now. Woohoo, we're so excited. Thank you so very much. And hope you have a good Sunday.
Bye.
Of course, this Monday today when they're watching
Hope
this.
you had a good Sunday.
Hope you had a good Sunday.